Okay, you guys, this is the fourth section of the video I've been working on, and what I decided to do this time was to sit down with a list of points I want to make and just shoot right through these videos without doing a second or third take, because I do struggle with that sometimes because I have bad short-term memory, and so if I make any mistakes and blunders, sometimes I just go ahead and leave them in there, then I watch them, and I hate them probably more than you do, so don't worry, I catch all the stupid sounding things that I say. Most of them anyway. Some things I gotta admit, maybe I'm naive and I don't know how stupid I sound, but that's besides the point. Anyways, I was just talking about how, last couple times I saw Bill, I almost felt like I left on better terms, you know, we left hugging each other goodbye and all that stuff, but I still felt like, I still felt kind of mad at him, like, I just can't believe, Bill Lee would rather, it's almost like, he can only be seen with a pretty model on his arm or something like that. He can't be seen talking to someone like me. Like there's like it's like not socially acceptable. Anyways, so anyways, I got a lot of opinions about, the interactions I've had with Bill Lieb and his whole entourage, and that's something where I felt like maybe this is like a I've been brought to Bill Lieb, not so that, not necessarily so that me and him would get involved with each other, but maybe I was being brought to Bill Lieb so that way I would gain a lot of perspective, because I've been thinking about getting into the music business for a very long time, and so there's some things that I'd like to carry out, things that I think are a good idea, but at the same time I'm seeing things in our music scene that I really hate, and so those are things that I'd probably try to avoid or not allow in my environment, so in a ways, it's just kind of like one of those movies where somebody was trying to learn from the drunken master and he wouldn't teach, so you had to attack the guy to learn his kind of kung fu or something like that. So like, I can't get Bill Lieb to talk to me, so and instead I can only learn from my observations, because I figured either I could join Frontline Assembly, or maybe Bill Lieb would be my music teacher, because hopefully he likes me enough when I tell him about myself. Because, the more I've heard about Reese Folber, the more I thought, hey, well, maybe he'll like me too, because similarly, my dad turned me on to a lot of good music, and I knew at a very early age that I'd like to get in the music business. But unfortunately, I didn't get much guidance on studio stuff, and, so it's been really hard for me to, like, decide where to spend my money and how to use my time. So I've been just kind of holding off and working on other stuff. So instead of doing music, I've been doing martial arts instead. So I'm going to be talking about martial arts in other videos. So I may not have been able to get a lot of these projects done that I want to, but I still have a voice and I still have a body, and I can still tell you my stories. I can still share you my insights, and then maybe even share a little bit about martial arts. Now, in the last video, the last time I seen Bill Lieb, I was really kind of devastated, and on those last couple times, even though it seemed like we left on friendlier terms, I just couldn't believe, where Bill Lieb was at. He was just sort of, and I kind of feel like when I first met him in '98, he was kind of going into, I call it a rock star crisis. That's where he's like, well, I'm a rock star, so I do rock star things. And to some extent, that's kind of what led up to him getting a divorce, was that whole I'm a rock star mentality. So I'd like to think that as Bill gets older and wiser, that he's starting to realize how silly that is, and that he doesn't feel offended by me, pointing that out to him, that he's had a bad case of hot, sexy rock star syndrome, or hot, sexy rock star-itis. That's when you think you're such a hot, sexy rock star that everyone's just trying to get you in bed, And I know it can be overwhelming when you get popular and stuff, but that's all part of the thing. Like, if you want to sell albums, you're going to need a lot of people to know who you are. So, so if you're in the music business, you really don't want to let that go to your head. Now, Bill Lieb is really good at what he does, but of course, if you want to sell 1 million albums, there's going to need to be 1 million people know your name. Anyways, yeah, he's a great artist, and I really appreciate him for everything he does, At any rate, I wanted to go to Vision Quest for many years, and I had the opportunity, so that's where I ended up going to South Dakota and meeting Uncle David. So I'd really love to talk a lot about making those connections and the revelations I was given there. Now, I went there because I was looking for help. I was like desperately looking for help. Like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't understand what all this visionary shit is about, you know? Like, I just really wanted help. And I got a lot of great insight from going to the Indians about so many other things. And then, so after I came back from Vision Quest, that's when I got relocated. So when I was in Denver, I was putting myself in storage and I was having a hard time finding work, but that's when Rosey spoke up and invited me to come up to Montana. So I went to Big Fork to Electric Avenue. Yeah, so I just figured I'd give it a try, and if I didn't like it, I'd go back. And when I very first got there, I actually slipped into visionary state right away. And so like that's what I was talking about. I didn't even know it, but I slipped into visionary state right away, man. And so I actually had one there. So I didn't know I was still having these visions, right? I thought they were all done, like the ones I did in 2000. I thought they were all over, but then I realized that in 2009 and 2010, I might have had more stuff going on. But when it got to 2010, like the spring of 2010, like I was saying earlier, it's like some of these were coming to a head. It's like I was reliving some of the times that I had came from in the past to visit in my vision. So like that was really heavy. So it was kind of like a whole different lesson. So like I've talked about is visionary slips, where you're just kind of ticking along, and it seems like you could slip off long enough to have an extra conversation, or maybe just have an extra day added to your life, where like where I was introduced to Billy in 1982. So I just sort of went off into a visionary slip, maybe for a night or for a while. And then later on, I did one where I kind of skipped over, rode a while, and came back. I was gone for months and months. So I met somebody else that relates to these stories. She says she's had visionary slips where she's probably been gone for thousands of years, if you add it together, like at least 1,000 years, she said. Now, so yeah, so it's kind of funny coming to the other end of that, and that's where things have kind of settled down a lot since then. I think since I had that last big psychic dump, things have really leveled off. So yeah, I did get put back in touch with Bill Lieb down there, and that's what's funny is, you know, it was only for about a year or so, but his girlfriend did all that to pick a fight with me, and that's where, like, I felt like, I always wonder if things would have been different if it wasn't for, like, you know, the girlfriend or those people in Denver or whatever, you know. Like, it always felt like, you know, people have been keeping me and Bill Lieb from talking, because he's always like, yeah, sure, we can talk, you know, just meet me over here, go, you know, and it's just like, and then I get his phone number, and it's like, yeah, feel free to call anytime, and, you know, so he's never said a harsh word to me himself. However, a lot of people have said really harsh things to me, sort of on his behalf, like, you know, his girlfriend and just, you know, a lot of people on the internet that, cause, you know, the mistake I made, because I was really confused earlier on, like, when I was being hit around 99, 2000, I was so confused. I really didn't know what was going on, and so I was going onto their band website, and I was trying to get through to Bill and tell him what's going on, but then other people just started like chewing me out and putting me down and just laughing at me, or just, what the hell's wrong with you, lady? Are you crazy? And it's like, well, so I started getting mad and just lashing out. So if you've ever seen that movie Problem Child, I feel like that's me, dude. Like I just want to make friends. I'm just being myself, but then when people start in on me, blah, I really lose my temper. And so that's where I'm saying, you know, I feel like I've done a lot of stupid things by losing my temper, and I really regret it all. And so who knows, like, I mean, there's a lot to that. So like that's where, you know, I've been trying to sort of reconnect with Bill. Like, I don't know, like, what I'm supposed to, you know, like if it matters. A lot of people think I should just, like, you know, forget this guy, but it's just that you know, the visions were really strong. That's what made me want to meet him. But then he's always just sort of like, yeah, sure, feel free to call back. And the very last couple times I spoke to him over the last few years, it was just sort of like he was happy to hear from me, and he would really like to talk to me the very next chance we get, and I'm welcome to call. So as far as I know, I'm welcome to call Bill Lieb anytime I want. However, I'm never able to get through to him, and I just feel like I don't know if he means it and he honestly can't talk to me, or if he's just sort of like politely getting away from me and just being like, dude, this lady's crazy, man, and he doesn't want to piss me off. And so that's where it's kind of frustrating. Like, I just really wish that me and Bill could be on talking terms, because if you look at the whole history of my stories, the whole reason there was confusion and misunderstanding and frustration was only because we were unable to communicate. So that's always been like that one little factor, is that, you know, Bill is very smart and not going around and just talking to people and sharing too much about himself and letting too many people get close to him. So he's very smart if he's keeping his circle small. Unfortunately for me, I've never really been in a good position to really get to know him or to communicate with him. So so a big part of the reason I want to make these videos is I really hope they come around to him. I mean, and I hope he watches these, and I hope we grow in understanding with each other. So I really don't expect much from Bill anymore. Like, of course, I don't expect him to fall in love with me and marry me, right? Like, but, and I highly doubt he'll even be my music teacher, but I just like to think that me and him could be on good terms. And if we could have a closer friendship than just hi, I would really, you know, like, as far as I'm concerned, if he wanted to have a friendship, kind of like the one I had with Rosey, you know, there was nothing romantic there, but she was somebody that I could talk to, you know. That's all I'm saying is, I always see that parallel that, you know, I met them in the Vision, I met them in '96. How come we can't be friends? It just seems like, you'd think I have more in common with Bill Lieb with my industrial music stuff than I had with Rosey. So, that's where I just feel like maybe it's a social issue. I feel like the only reason Bill Lieb doesn't like me is because he thinks I'm ugly or something like that. You know, it's because I'm not a pretty model, or, you know, because I'm so ugly and disfigured. Okay, so hopefully, he doesn't really think that, but unfortunately, he did tell somebody, he told his girlfriend that he thinks I'm fat and I'm ugly and I'm stupid, and that's where he kind of reminds me of Billy from the Vision telling somebody that he told somebody that I'm Jody Carody. So in reality, Bill Lieb has actually talked shit about me, but probably more to defend himself and to get this woman to calm down. So I'll try not to take that too personally, but remember, you know, you get that big wrinkly forehead, and you're like a big scary guy that sings like a big spooky dragon breath, and you're not a whole lot prettier than I am, but in my eyes, Bill Lieb will always be the cutest guy I ever knew. That's why I call him Curly Q. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my basic timeline and how Bill Lieb fits in. Like, he's welcome to be my friend for the rest of my life, but believe me, sometimes things happen for a reason. Sometimes we're protected by inconveniences. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff I didn't miss that he had to go through. So that's fine. I'm really happy for Bill Lieb if he's back with Carol Ann, because I can tell that lady, she's a real friend. She's like adopted family. You know, I don't want to say she's like his sister, but yeah, you know. So I absolutely have a lot of respect for her, and again, if she values my friendship by any chance, we'll be friends the rest of our life. So big hugs to you guys, big hugs to everyone watching. I appreciate everyone who listens to me, who attempts to understand me, and if you're enjoying my stories, that's the bottom line. If there's only 1 or 2 people that love my stories, these were for you. Take care, bye-bye.